Good morning, Rabbi Oziel. Nishmas Mordechai. What a hush of a guest. Been waiting for 3 years for this. Rav Dov Farkash all the way from Australia. Shalom Aleichem. Wow. The Chazan from Australia. What city again? Melbourne. If you want to see, we know him from one of these videos we did, a promotional video, all the way in the beginning. No? How many years ago is that?
The beginning of Brachos.
Brachos. I love Raveli. You married a Lebovic, the daughter of a Rosh Yeshiva?
Yes.
I wanted to show that piece and I forgot. Okay, great. I heard you coming, huh?
That's all you remember, right?
I remember the whole thing. I remember the whole thing about Peh. Sitting there with the Svarim behind, the whole thing. Okay. Welcome. Avi Berg. Good afternoon, Baruch Hashem. Our son Avadio has been an active member and recruiter for nearly 2 years. Will be with Hashem bar mitzvah at the end of I'd like to bring him in person one morning the week before his bar mitzvah to get a bracha, mazel tov from Harava Goyin Rebelli. Does Eli, Harava Goyin Rebelli, and then it says in the next sentence, does Eli have plans to be in Chicago this August? Chap. I just chap. When I'm in Chicago, I'm Eli. That's the pshat. It's good. With the Eli, thanks and have a great Shabbos, Avi. So, Rabbi Oziel, I have to tell you this. My youngest child, is Be'ezer Hashem having a bar mitzvah on Rosh Chodesh Av. So that means that this year I am forced to go to Chicago a little bit earlier than usually. Usually I go like Tisha B'Av time. Now I have to be there because his bar mitzvah is Boy Bayoim. It's going to be in America. It's going to be a pizza party because it's on Rosh Chodesh Av. No music, no meat, and then when we come back, we'll have a Suda like 3-4 months after his bar mitzvah, and he'll start preparing his laning and everything in America. And he does anachas still. So the answer to this is I'll be in America probably at the end of Av. Okay, we'll see. Maybe not. But the beginning of Kiddushin is the end of Av. I might be back. I don't have a ticket yet, so I don't know. Sometime next week I have to fly. I don't have to, but my wife is there. She wants me to come. Okay, Rabbi Oziel, this is from Twitter. Somebody put this on Twitter, that this young girl, made this picture for school. It's her and her tati in the car, and he's listening to a shir. It says, "Good morning, Rabbi Oziel." I think it's beautiful. That's what she pictures. Her and her father driving, and this is what he's doing. He's learning Torah as he drives. Where's the button? Button off for a second. I don't know if you want to read this email during the shir, as it might set a dangerous precedent. A month ago, you read my email announcing the P'tira of Chazan Moshe Kraus and his Levai in Yisrael. Last night, we had a community shloshim event here in Ottawa. I met a fellow Yidel Itzkowitz who drove him from Toronto for the event, and I told him my name. At the event, he asked me how I heard about the shloshim. He said he's listening to the Daf Yomi shir, and the Magid shir read an email about the P'tira. The kids, he's saying that we can make money off this if we advertise Levias and shloshim. Then he looked at me and said, "Wait, your Peter's, it was your email. Here's a photo for the MDY records. I'm on the right. MDY advertising works. Perhaps this is a new revenue stream for the shir. Please don't ask me for any retroactive billing clarifications." Adam Peters, Ottawa. Here we go. It's from Ottawa. Okay. Shkoyach. And Rabbi Oziel, the Koilo is sponsored by Anonymous from Lakewood, the Refuas Shalamis Esther Bas Bela. The second sponsor of the Koilo, Nishmas Chaim ben Moshe, Nishmas Betzal ben Moshe, the Masechta Moshe Banda, to thank Hashem that I'm able to thank Him for everything that I have. Parnas Achoidesh, Jeff Rosner, Nishmas, Yosef Simcha Chaim, and Shlomo Yehuda. Parnas Achoidesh, Lebovic families, Lakewood NJ, because torah and achdus are the best segula. Parnas Achoidesh, Nishmas Chaim Bas Yosef. Parnas Shavua, Michael Benchetrit, in commemoration of the yartzeit of Rabbi Yosef Oziel, that's how you pronounce, who was very instrumental in getting you to do the daf and finishing one cycle. And here you are, halfway through the second cycle. I continue to learn the daf in his memory. Parnas Hayoim, Yitzi and Ruchi Parser, Zech Nishmas Harzeda, Irving Doppel, Yisrael Ben Shimon, Parnas Hayoim, bin Yom Blomberg, the Zech Nishmas Miriam Bas Nachum on a yartzeit. By Parnas Hayoim, Avrumi Leitman for the Refuah Shlomo, for my mother-in-law, Toiva Bas Chana Shendel, and the art for complete refuah for Chaim Tzvi Ben Leah Raboisa. Here we go. We have some Geshmak Sugis today. We have some Gaditas, some stories, and we're finishing up the Sugis of Nizikin pretty soon. So Chaparain, if you love Baba Kama and Baba Basra, this is it. Yisoymim Shesamchu Eitzabal Beis. Brand new Mishnah. Daf Yomi Beis Amud Aleph. Top. First word. Doesn't happen often that we're right where we need to be. Huh? On a Friday. Really doesn't happen that often. Yisoymim Shesamchu Eitzabal Beis. So we're dealing with an apotropos. Apotropos, a guardian. Sponsored by Eli Freeman, Nishmas, my dear father, Chaim Avram, Shalom Yerucham Ben Yisrael David, all of us Shalom. An apotropos can be appointed by the Bezdin. Say, hey, be the guardian of these Yisoymim. They don't have parents, take care of them. The apotropos can be appointed by the father right before he dies. And here the Mishnah tells the Chiddush that the Yisoymim themselves can appoint an apotropos. They can go to the next door neighbor and say, hey, we lost our parents, we lost our father, we need help. Could you help us out? Yisoymim shesamchu eitzabal bayis, and we're going to see that, I don't know if we'll see it that clear, but it's very difficult to get out of the job. Once you take upon yourself, you don't have to take the job, but once you decide that you're an apotropos for life, kind of. It's very hard to get out of it. Yisoymim shesamchu eitzabal bayis, or shemina lehen avim apotropos. Either they themselves decided, knocking on the neighbor's door, please take care of us. Or the father himself, he appointed someone. Chayiv la'aser perisayim. Now we know, I'm not going to go through the whole chart, or the whole video, but this is just for Jonathan's sake. Trumas Ma'aser, this is going back to the old days. No animation today. Trumas Ma'aser is the difficult one. Fine. You can't eat peres. If your parents don't have truma, maaser, and all that stuff taken, it's tevel, and so this is the rice deep from it. So somebody has to take the trumas and maaser for the yisoymim, the apotropos can do it. Now we're going to see it's a huge chiddush. In fact, it's a big problem. How does the apotropos take truma and maaser? It's not his stuff. There's a mafurusha pasuk that says it has to be yours. Apotropos shemino avi yisoymim yishava. When the father appoints a guardian, so when his job is over, when they become adults, they become gedolim, they become 13, he should swear to them that he didn't take any of their belongings, everything was clean. Bezdin lo yishava. The Tanna Kama says it depends. If the father is the one that appointed him, then he should swear. But if Bezdin is the one, look, he's doing Bezdin a favor, you don't have to make a shvuah. But either way, the way we look at it, this is all for Tikkun Ha'olam, to save the world. It's the exact opposite. When the father asks his friend to be the guardian, then he doesn't have to make a shvuah. If Bezin asks, and the Gemara is going to give us the svara, Bezin asks, then you do make a shvuah. Also, Tikkun Ha'olam. As the Gemara, how's it possible for an apotropos to remove the trumas and maasers from the produce? Reminu atem v'lo shutfim. Atem v'lo shutfim. You take the truma and maaser. In this pasuk, I think it's talking about maaser. Atem v'lo shutfim. Not your partner. You have a partner. He can't take maaser for you. He can't take truma for you. Atem v'lo harisa. You have to do it yourself, and not your sharecropper guy, the guy that works the field and he takes a percentage. He can't do it for you. Atem v'lo apotropin. That's what we're looking for. An apotropos cannot take trumas and maasers. So why does the Mishnah say that apotropos takes the truma and maaser for the assignment? Atem v'lo torah she'ein shaloi. Two pshat and Rashi. Either this is just explaining what we just said. This is the reason because it's not yours, or it's a new case which already fits into the other cases. Or Rav Chizda kashi. We have to explain. Kan lahachil, kan lahaniya. When the Yisraelim want to eat right now and they're going to be over on Tevel, so the apotropos is permitted to remove trumas and maasers for him. But why? How? How does it work? How does it work? So there's Taisus Rid here on the Daf who explains that it works with Hefker, Bezin, Hefker. The Bezin, you have to come out to something extreme here because Midiraisa doesn't work. You cannot be Ma'afer Shumas and Raisa for somebody else. So okay, I feel bad for the Yisayim, they're going to eat devil, but how can you do it? It just doesn't fit into the pasuk. He explains Hefker, Bezin, Hefker. That's the best pshat that I found.
Then it's not Apotropos on anybody. No?
We allow the Apotropos. Bezdin says he's in charge. Right.
I'm saying once you're allowing him to do that, what's an afkamina?
Bezdin allows, in this particular case, so they could eat. They removed the belongings from the Yisayim and gave it to the Apotropos.
So do shlichus.
But it's not shlichus, because if it's shlichus, then...
So once you're allowing him to do it, so you can allow him to do shlichus, it's not afkamina.
Yeah, no, so what is shlichus? And therefore what?
That's what he said. So no, I'm saying shlichus that's the obvious thing you would think. Right away. Like anything.
Yeah, but once they're allowing, you don't have to come on to shlichus. Once they do hefker, bez, and hefker, then it's not even shlichus. Then it's literally the apotropos. Okay, now you're going to the way it works with bezin. Hefker, bez, and hefker just means they remove property from one, give to the other. Bezin doesn't have the right to make a shliach. They have the right to remove property. Say this, you don't own this. Hefker, bez, and hefker, we can take property away from you and give it to somebody else. They took it away from the Yisayim, gave it to the apotropos for a minute so that the apotropos could remove trumas and ma'aser midiraisa. Kan la'aniach, but in a case where the apotropos is just removing trumas and ma'asers for the future, and the Yisayim are already going to be older and adults and they can do it themselves, then they have no right. The apotropos, Bez is not going to give them hefker, bez, and hefker in that case. But Tanya, binichusa says Rashi, it's a raya, not a question. Apotropos torah u'ma'aser lahachil v'loy la'aniach. We have a Mefurish Brayz that says apotropos could take trumas and maasros in order for the Yisayim to be able to eat right now, which makes sense. The apotropos has the right to take the Yisayim's animals and sell them off. Their avadim who are getting older, they're going to be worthless soon. Let's just try to make a quick buck here. Ushvachais, batim, they could sell their real estate. Sodais, kramim, whatever it is. Lahachil, avaloi laniach. You could give them the right. They have the right to sell because they need to eat right now, but not for future profits or whatever. Why not? You have the person has a slave right now that's getting older. Let's sell him off quickly. We'll make a quick buck. Put the money away. Says Rashi, no, because the money might get stolen. We don't know. Or another reason Rashi says, because sometimes it's sentimental value. This is a house that the son grew up in. There's a house that the father grew up in. There's some sort. So don't go selling things because you think it's a good idea. If the kids need to eat right now, then you can go sell things. The same thing, we could sell fruit, wine, oil, flour, in order to feed the kids, but not just for future profits. Very interesting. We are allowed and permitted to sell off their belongings for mitzvahs, such as lulav, even though they're ketanim. You have a 10-year-old, he needs a lulav. He needs aravav. In those days, they used aravas all sukkahs long. Go to the Beis Hamikdash, go around the Mizbeach, arava. V'sukkah, to build a sukkah. V'tzitzis. V'chol davar sheyesh lekitzvah. And anything that has a set price. La'asuyei shofar, even something like a shofar. Shofar, maybe they could be yartzeit from somebody else. No, we're permitted to buy the yasam shofar. V'loikhin lehem sefer torah, tefillin, umezuzos. And we could purchase for the Yisayim a sefer torah so they can learn torah, tefillin, umezuzos. Now the word tefillin here is very interesting. We're talking about a katan. A katan wears tefillin or doesn't wear tefillin. Huh? So either then they did, or maybe it's talking about a month before bar mitzvah. But another thing I just saw, literally, I didn't have a lot of time. It was already 7:08 when I saw this. That there's an idea for a yasam to wear tefillin more than any other child, just like a yasam says kaddish, so yasam would wear tefillin. L'zeicher Nishmas is his father. So maybe even a year before people would agree, because this is a big problem. They have to have a gufnaki, and a kid doesn't know how to do it. But for Yasam, we'll say, go ahead, wear tefillin. Ayin Sham, there might be a difference between Ashkenazim and Sfardim in this halacha. Huh? You start wearing tefillin by 11, that's what I just said. So there might be a difference between Sfardim and Ashkenazim. I never saw an 11-year-old wear tefillin. They all Sfardim do that? Yeah.
The article says that Green Gemara in Sukkah, that really you should start whenever the child is ready to keep a gufnaki.
The art scroll here on the spot says this?
Yeah, just a minhag to wait until right.
Okay, yeah, so basically it fits right into what we're saying. That Racham is saying that the art scroll says that it depends on when the kid is ready. So sometimes you have an 11-year-old that's ready. Sfardim are obviously more mature than Ashkenazim, so they start at 11. Yeah, that's all. Michael Benchetrit agrees to that. Teimanim start at 9. Moroccans at 6. The kids are, us Ashkenazim are lagging behind. If you look it up, Ashkenazim have the highest IQ, but they're very immature. That's what we have to say. Huh? Gronics at 3. Gronics just weird forever. So not only Sevitoriya Tefillin Mezuzah, but anything that has a set price, Lasuye, Megillah, this is also something that you go to shul, you hear the Bakar laning. Why does he have to buy Megillah? No, he can buy Megillah. It's an interesting thing, because I was thinking here in our base measure right here. What would you think? What is better, to allow a kid that just turned bar mitzvah, he just turned 13 in a day, he barely knows how to read, he mumbles some of the words, he's completely focused on how to say the words, he's not having any kavanah, I don't think, unless you're a typical 13-year-old, he's like, okay, and this, and what do you do here, what do you do there? Should you allow him to be a chazan, or should you allow the 25-year-old, the 40-year-old to be a chazan? What do you say? No? We have this all day long. Your son davened yesterday, I think, beautifully. Kavanah is more important.
You're carrying the whole.
So Moshe Banda says no. It's more important to have the kid daven than an adult. A kid has many less averis than the adult. He's pure, and the fact that he has no kavanah and this and that is not important. Let him daven. So we're doing the right thing. We allow these little kids daven all the time. Happy doesn't work with Yiddishkeit. We want halacha. It makes him very happy. Is it halacha or not halacha? Like a real grana.
That's a grana.
Yep. I'm going to get all the... Is it halacha? It's halacha or not halacha? I don't care if the kid is happy. The kid is so happy, but I had no kavanah. What up? Yeah, what?
I just want to write that down.
What he means is, you wrote it down already. It's already.
What he means is, if you
Rabbi, so remember this moment, because it's going to be repeated Rosh Chodesh Adar this coming year. Yeah.
No, what he means is that when you let the kid do this now,
yeah.
So then you're getting him into the whole. Yes. And
that's great. What I'm talking to you, Judah, we have a tzibur here. He could be very happy. Yishkoyach. But we have halachas.
How is he going to be a good chaz when he's 40? Because he starts being a chaz when he's 13. That's the way it works. You build it up.
Exactly.
Otherwise, how's he going? One day he's going to become a chaz.
You're saying something else now. You're saying something.
That makes him happy.
That makes it very good. It's happy.
So it's all part of it.
Shkoyach.
There's no place for him.
Who cares about Hashem? We care about happy. Lasuy Megillah. Vein poising aleim tzedakah. Vein poising aleim es hashvuim. It's gonna go viral. Vein poising aleim tzedakah. Don't be a big tzaddik and take the Yasim's money and start giving out tzedakah. It has no limit, unfortunately. Especially once you start giving, they start coming. Here's even a bigger mitzvah. Pidyon shvuim. Don't use the Yasim's money. But like all things that don't have a limit, whatever that means, to be menachem avol, maybe they used to send food. Is it the right thing to do? Not the right thing to do? It's not talking about the tzedakah part, because that we already said tzedakah. Probably the food. Rabbi Trouble shouldn't go to court for the Yasam, whether he has good reason to go or bad reason. He has good proof for the Yasam. Don't go. Says Gemara, why not? You're doing good for him.
He's good.
We're not there yet, are we? Yeah, not there yet. This guy's been say Simon. This guy's a my loy. Really? No, you don't. Look at it again. Why not? that if you go in there thinking that you're going to do good, but at the end, I don't know, every time I had something to do with a bezin or something, it was always, I thought I'm coming in, I'm going to wipe the floor with everybody, and then I come out with my head down. So the guy comes in and lists guys. And then no, it's going to be a chayv, and we're going to have to undo the whole din. So don't bother. So this makes a lot of sense. The guy has a property in Minnesota, sell it and bring it to New York or wherever you are. Minnesota's a great place. I mean, like in Dubai. There's a property in Dubai. Bring it to Eretz Yisrael. What does he have it? No. Bira, v'ligal b'yafa, he has a bad piece of real estate. Sell it off. Get him something good. No. My time at the Dilma Mishtatfen. I thought it was very interesting. Maybe the field that you're going to buy an apartment in Yerushalayim, you think you're doing so well for the Yasim, there's going to be a flood, there's going to be a wind, whatever, it's going to take care of it. So there's a guy that his horse ran away. And he's a big Baal B'tach, and people said, oh, it's a terrible thing. He says, who said it's a terrible thing? Maybe it's a good thing. In fact, the horse went and found like 5 different friends, wild horses, and they got hungry eventually, and he brought them all back to this guy's house. So people said, oh, you see, you're right. It's a good thing. So the Baal B'tach said, who says it's a good thing? Maybe it's a bad thing. And in fact, his son tried to ride one of those wild horses, and the horse threw him off, and he broke his legs. So he said, oh, you see, it's a bad thing. So the Baal B'tach said, who says it's a bad thing? Maybe it's a good thing. In fact, the army came, and they tried to draft him, and he had 2 broken legs. They couldn't draft him. The point of the story is that we don't know what's good, what's bad. You think you're buying an apartment in Yerushalayim, you're doing the guy a favor, and then the building falls down. You think of this, you don't know. We don't know anything. What you think is good is bad. What's bad is good. It says over here, don't be a big chacham in real estate, even real estate. What you think is rachai, karaiv, good, bad, don't mess with it. Let the Yasim deal with it when he gets older, and Shalom Yisrael. Apotropos is permitted to sell a field and you cannot sell real estate, which is a great investment, obviously, and to buy something like a car. A car, the value goes down every day. The value goes down. You buy a slave. Today he's great. Tomorrow he's not alive anymore. But the reverse you could do. You could sell a slave who's getting old to buy real estate. That also is not permitted. My timer, Dilma, Loi, Mishafion. Maybe this Rashi explains that you bought a real estate we were talking about yesterday. Anybody could come, Balchayv could come and take it away from you. Maybe there will be some error. You're not going to have. In those days, they didn't have what is it called? When you buy real estate, you get that insurance. Not here in Israel, title insurance. They didn't have that. You come. You don't know what you're buying exactly, so don't buy. Don't do any switcheroos. Now, if you don't own a slave, you don't have permission to free him. Who are you to free him? You could be in charge, and you still don't have the right to free him. So what do you do? What you do have the right is to sell him. Right? You could only... Your Gemara is messed up here completely? But you should be looking in the good side, not in the pure side. that would be straight. You just gave it away. Okay. No, this is a one-time thing because his eyes is this and it has Nakudis today. If you want to get rid of the slave, you halachically don't have the right to sell him, even though it makes you happy. Because sometimes happy is not halachically correct.
Sell him you could. Give him away.
Oh! But, right, you can't give him away, even if it makes you happy. But what you do is... Yeah, I'm just talking to Judah. Rabbi Omer, it's not true. Right. Psh, gewaldig. So Rabbi says, it's not true. You could free him one-on-one. You don't have to go to a third party. You don't have to make a trick. I'll sell him to Michael Benchetrit, and Michael Benchetrit will release him. You don't have to do that. All you need to do is sell him to you. Like, he'll get money from somebody, he'll give it to you, and basically he buys himself from you. That's like selling himself. So the Gemara says that at the end of the day, when these Yisraelim get older, you have to sit back and you have to make a whole cheshbon with them and say, this is what we got in, this is what we took off. There's This is with, I thought this meant, when I learned it, no, Vishava, yeah. Vishava Shalinin Shabiyadi Klum. It is with a Shavua. Says the Gemara, you don't have to make sure, you don't have to make a whole cheshbon. Apitrova should not be. Of course, if the father decides that it should be a woman, it's a woman. But you, Bezdin, don't make a woman because she's not very good at traveling and coming and going and selling and doing the whole thing. Avodim are not believed. Ktanim don't have das. Each one has a different reason. But if the father did, he could appoint anybody. He could appoint somebody that doesn't have das also. He could appoint somebody that's not so trustworthy, like an Evet. Says the Gemara Maaser. However, trouble is the Havim Shavusi the Remeir. There was a slave in the neighborhood of Remeir. The Havim Komizabin Aroso V'Zovin Avde. He was selling real estate, and with the profits he was buying slaves. Remeir says no good. So they showed him in a dream to Remeir. Ani laharois v'ata livnois. We're trying to destroy the property of these Yisraelim. So the Yavet says, either Yavet, somebody else says over there that maybe it was bad money. So Baruch Hu wanted to get rid of this money for the Yisraelim. Whatever the reason is, I wanted to get rid of this money. What are you doing? Why are you ruining my plan? You don't listen to a chacham. I said this mice a few times. There was a Rebbe that was nifter, and his oldest son was supposed to be the Rebbe, and the youngest son got up and he said, I dreamt, my father came to me in the dream. I think it was a Motzei Shabbos. I dreamt, my father said, I should be the Rebbe. So the oldest son said, yeah, if Tati wanted you to be the Rebbe, he would have come to me in the dream to tell me that you should be the Rebbe. Why is he coming to you? There was Rabbi Shua Berman showed me yesterday, a Noida Yehuda, that brings this machlokes rishonim about this type of fish. He sent me pictures. Somebody claims he knows what it looks like. Interesting looking fish. Tarbuto, I think it was called, something like that. Sharbuto. I have it down there. Barbuto. Barbuto. Barbuto is the name of the fish. Machlokes rishonim, if it's kosher or not kosher. And Rabbi Ephraim said, I saw in the Chalaim that it's treif. So the Noida Yehuda says this whole thing, why didn't he come to the Rabbeinu Tam in the Chalaim to say that it's treif? Why did he come to you? The same kind of Chalaim is shavi daberi. We don't paskin based on a Chalam. And finally, when we talk about Chalaim, I said the story a number of times, but it's an interesting story with the Brisker Rav. A guy came to the Brisker Rav and said, I had a dream that if I go to so-and-so, this place, he's going to die, that person. So the Brisker Rav says, Chalaim shavi daberu. So the guy went there and he died. So they went back to the Brisker Rav and they said, what do you mean Chalaim shavi? He died. He said, if the guy came to me again, I'm going to tell him the same thing. Chalaim shavi daberu. What happened? I don't know what happened, but it's not, we don't trust in dreams. Zog the Gemara. Chadir chaloimus limalim v'loi moiridin. Hanu beitrei the Igribu Satan. There are two people that the Satan got to them and they used to fight. The Chol Bei Shimshei have a kominzu b'hadei adodi, like today on a Friday. It was Erev Shabbos, Ben Hashmoshes. That's when they used to fight. Ikla Rebbe Meir lahasam, and Rebbe Meir came. He heard about this fight. Ikvinut lasa Bei Shimshei. He stuck around, so they were embarrassed to fight in front of him, and he did this 3 times. Chazaka ad avad Shlomo. First, you have to make sure they don't fight, and then you can make shalom. Shabbat Omar, and they heard the Yitzhahar saying, the Satan, Vaida Apke Remeir Lau Gavrim Beise. What a shame! The Satan is saying, what a shame! Remeir kicked me out of my house. The Chassam Sofer says that every machlokes that Talmid Chacham have in learning takes away machlokes from this world. And on Erev Shabbos, he says, this is a beautiful thing. On Erev Shabbos, there's less learning in the world. Even Talmid Chacham learn less. So it gives a foothold for the Yitzhar to come in and have people fight Erev Shabbos. However, Tropos, the Hava who says, Talmid Chacham marbim shalom ba'olam, with their machlokes and learning, the marba. However, Tropos, the Hava shivus the Rabbi Shua ben Levi. There was an Apotropos, the Hava comes Zaben Aro, Zaben Torah. He would sell real estate and buy oxen. He wouldn't say anything. Savalak Rabbi Yosef. It's not Rabbi Yosef. Omar Rabbi Yosef. Miyomai. Loikarasi li ishti. I never called my wife by her name. L'shari. Elo li ishti beisi. I'd call my wife a house. Well, the shoyri sadi. The point of the Gemara is that the wife is the main part of the house, that she keeps the whole household. The shoyer, the tractor. Without a tractor, you have no field. So in Mela, what good is if you have two fields? It's better to have one field and a tractor than have two fields and no tractor. You're going to do with a field without a tractor. Okay. I think I've heard with my own ears, I'm pretty sure I heard this, like some Hasidim call their wife Shtib or something like that. Hoy, Shtib, I don't know, I remember hearing. Huh? Dus, di. Especially for, I don't know, like if they have a child or something, say my Shtib had a living room. Like my Shtib had a room. So, yeah, what? What?
Ali, you should try it.
I should try it. No, the Maram Shif says over here that Rabbi Yosef had a bad relationship with this wife. He actually divorced her at the end. Mamela, he used to call her whatever. But that doesn't fit into. No, it doesn't fit into the Gemara. Oh, you mean it started from the fact that it called her house? Ah, yeah, yeah. Fine. No, so it happens to be in Eretz Yisrael. There's a lot of people that they get married. They have to have a house. They have to have a dira. Some people, they get married. They buy a car. They take all the, it depends on the thing. Over here, it's both. You have a little house and you have a tractor. You need a tractor. So these Yisraelim, they had nowhere to go, so they went to this bubby, take care of us. Havalu Tarsa, they had oxen, shaklubs, Zabinta, Nahalayu, she sold them off. Asukrev, Kamed, Rav Nachman, the relatives. Where were you? Why aren't you taking care of these Yisraelim? No, I don't know. But to complain, I know how to complain. I come to the Rav Nachman. She's ruining it all. She's selling off the good stuff. Omrle ma'avita de zabina. What business is she? What right does this old lady have to sell off these Yisraelim tractors? It says in our Mishnah that if Yisraelim pick their own apotropos, that's it. It's an apotropos. Oh, v'hoyaker. But the price went up. It went. Don't worry about it. It went up in price. It's too late. It was already the guy that purchased it. He profited it. Oh, so these guys are talmid chachamim. You have to a yosem, as we're going to see a whole sugi now. A yosem buys with money. Everybody else buys with meshicha. A yosem buys with money. They knew this. There's no money here. Everything. We'll see in a second. Oh, this is this is a sale. They sold off a shark, and they didn't get money. They didn't get money.
What did they get?
They got a promise. I owe you.
Okay.
Well, when we have money tomorrow, we'll give you.
I mean, there's a chance to take it back. Still.
Yeah. Says Gemara. So this is the halacha that we have to remember. We're going to see 8 cases, literally 8 cases. This is the only case that really makes a difference to us. This is the difference that a yosem has that nobody else has. Midaraisa, we buy with money. But chacham say, don't use money, use meshicha. But hegdish works with money. A yosem should be like hegdish. So what happened over here? The Yisraelim sold the Knox. They sold it for 100. Then COVID happened or whatever. Used cars went through the roof. But they didn't receive the money. So he says, you didn't receive the money? Cancel the sale and resell it for the higher price. What's the problem? Now, what if it works to their disadvantage? What if there was a Mashiach? Are they worse off than everybody else? The whole world uses Mashiach. They're using money. So the Gemara is going to say, the Yisraelim, they sold off wine and they sold it off for 4 per barrel. And the price went up 50%. It went up to 6. We can use the same, invoke the same halacha. Since there's no money involved here, then the Yisraelim can take it back. So basically we have, Rabbi Oziel, we have 4 cases. We have 2 cases of Meshicha and 2 cases of Kesef, right? There's 2 ways to purchase, with money and with Mashicha. The two cases are, one is the Yosem selling to somebody, one is somebody selling to Yosem. So that's two Mashicha. Either the Yosem is doing the Mashicha, or just an individual doing Mashicha. Here's the picture of the guy in our chart today. Either the Yosem is doing the Mashicha, or the Israeli guy is doing the Mashicha. And we have in each case, so that's 4 cases, and in each case, either the price went up, or the price went down. And let's see what Yoshi did 2 in the morning. Mamish 2 in the morning, he wrote to me. If, here goes, let's do this. He drew this mamish, it took him a very long time. He drew out the whole Machne Yehuda thing here. So now the Yosem is the seller, and the Israeli guy is the buyer, and the Israeli guy did Mashicha, and it was worth, he bought it for 50, and he didn't pay for it. And it went up in price to 60. What did we just say? He gets the money back. Chayzer. You see on the top it says Chayzer, it goes right back. That is the only difference out of all 8 cases. That's the only thing that we're going to remain with. But in this case, the Yosem gains. What about if he did Mashicha and the price went down? And now the Yosem is going to lose. The Yosem wants to sell it for the higher price. He cannot take it back because he did Mashicha. A regular human being, he still has to pay the 50. He made the king in the Mashicha, he can't take it back. Just because the Yosem has the right to use money, doesn't mean that the Israeli guy can use money. The Israeli guy is kind of a Mashicha. Says the Gemara inside, if the price went up, the Yosem could say, I'm canceling the sale. Zar, if it went down, we just gave the Yosem an advantage by using money, but not a disadvantage by saying that he can't use Mashicha. He's no different than anybody else that could use Mashicha. In this case, Yad al Yana. He could dance him 2 chasanas, use whichever kinyan he wants for this particular case. Go to the next case. Now it's reverse. Now the Yosem, you see, the Yosem is buying and the Israeli is selling. That makes more sense. This is how it looks like in Machne Yehuda. Mamish like that. He drew this Machne Yehuda guy from scratch. Yakir, he writes to me at 2, I'm not exaggerating, 2 in the morning, he writes to me, texts me, he goes, okay, I'm done with the cases, can you take a look at it? I'm like, happens to be I'm up, okay, I'll take a look at it. Like, and then I looked at it for 2 minutes and like, I don't know the sugi well enough to like go through it. I'll get back to you in a few hours to see. Like I had to change one chart I changed, but that's it. The Yosem made a Mashicha, a Yaker, and you see the price went up. So he did a Mashicha, that's enough for him. He's able to do it. So it went down in price, and now he says, wait a minute, I only did Mashicha, I want to invoke Rabbi Ilui and say that I'm like Hegdish, and I only use money. No, let's not invoke Rabbi Ilui in this case. So in other words, he's no different than a regular person, he's like a regular person. Why? There's in the Sarach of the pay rate, because if we say that he could always take the purchase back until he gives money, people are not going to be nice to him. He'll need fruit, and nobody's going to give him anything. Fine. Now, what if, now we're going to another case, Rabbi Oziel. Oops, it's going too slow. We got him. Oh, that was the Havamina. Okay, you see, you just showed that there's a Havamina. Okay. He gave money. Yeah, you see this? And then, so when a Yosem pays with money, it's a kinyan. Zoil, and it went down. So we say, over here, listen, he's no different than a regular human being. So you need a Mashicha. So it goes back. A Yakir, but if the price went up, maybe say no. It should be like Hegdish. So maybe it should be like Hegdish that what? That the Yisomim bought it and the Moicher can't take it back. Daf Yomi, Amud Beis. So he says no. So this is a svar that we have. This is the reason why chacham instituted that Mashiach should work in that money. Why? Because people could say, if you bought it with money, if money works, so the guy that sold it to you is not going to take care of your product. Let's say you gave him money in advance, and you didn't take it home. And then there was a fire, there was a ganav, there was mice, whatever it is. He's not going to take it. He doesn't care. He already got paid. So he said, no, it has to be Mashiach. So Mela, you saw him also. They can't use the money now. They can't say, oh, we bought it with money. No, we want it to be fair. You're like everybody else. What if, it's going too slow here. The Israeli paid for the fruit with cash. Now, Israeli can't pay for fruit with cash. He could only do Mashiach. Sorry. The price went up. If the price went up, so we'll say that hegdish should be worse than everybody else. So he takes it back. Maybe we should invoke hegdish over here. No, Yosef is no better than everybody else. It's bad for him to invoke hegdish. Sometimes they'll need cash up front. But look at the love you, and nobody will give him cash up front. Until you actually give fruit. So the bottom line is the first case is the only difference between Yisrael and everybody else. Don't go home yet. Daf Yomi, Amud Beis, sponsored by Mordechai Zapaznik in my honor, and by tehillim.amindaf.com. Omer Avashi, in case you leave, Motzei Shabbos shears at 10:15, latest Shabbos of the year. Omer Avashi. And over Rav Kahano Chasmin and Ashtor the Ime, the Zira Yasma, there was the mother of Yisraelim. She did some stuff, and we signed on the shtar. The Mizabna Ara, what did she do? She sold real estate to raise money, the Chraga, for the head tax. She didn't even announce it publicly for 30 days, like you're supposed to announce for Yisraelim. Why? The Chraga, for taxes, head tax. For support, Vilakvura, and to bury whoever it is, Yosef, father. You could sell without announcing it. Aaron Tzabah, Aaron the painter, the dyer, Apitropos, the Asmahava, he was an Apitropos. Also, they came to Rav Nachman. Amrilei, Kolovish Machasim Yasmin. Look at this guy. He's using Yisraelim's funds to dress himself well. So that people will respect him. So I got to tell you this because I don't know if I said this ever in Shir. I'll tell you a few chidushim that I said on a podcast once, but I don't think in Shir. That when in 2005, I had Mark Sommer came over to me. I once said in Shir, he came over to me at a chasana, and he said, I have 2,000 apartments for you to buy. And I told him he's Meshuggah, and then I thought about it, and I called him the next day. I said, I want to go see these apartments. So I drove out there, and the guy that was selling the apartments from Aimco, it's a very large real estate company in America, it's publicly traded, he says, can I speak to you? He takes him to the side, and he says, this clown over here, he's going to buy the apartments. He just showed up in a Toyota Sienna. How could he buy a $60 million property? It's a good taina. And he told him, he fakayved him luxury, and he says, this guy, Rolls Royce, Lamborghinis, he for shtick, he drives around in that's his shtick. Fine. You have to, so I took from there that, I need to buy a Lexus. I went and I bought a Lexus afterwards. But L'maisa, I could have just stayed with the Sienna because it didn't make a difference. It does make a difference in business sometimes, the way you present yourself, the way you look. That's what the Gemara says over here. In fact, this guy, Bill Porter, another Maisa that you don't know, I don't think, he said he has to come meet me. They have a minhag that when Aimco sells a property, they have to meet face to face. No, everything's on the phone. So I kept on putting, I don't have an office. I was working out of my house. So the Lamaisa, the attorneys that did my deal purchased Mickles and Meeks. I called them up. I said, listen, I need your office. I need to pretend that I have an office. No problem. They moved out, and I put up a sign, Eli Stefansky Prime Quiz Management. And I spoke to the secretary. I explained exactly what has to happen. This guy, Bill Porter, shows up. She says, Ellie's very busy now. He's, in the meetings. She made the guy wait there for 20 minutes. Meanwhile, I'm like walking around in circles. And I chopped that I have some goyish kids on my wall that don't look anything like me. So I took off the picture and put it on the thing. I set up looking over the lake. Shine. I'm not recommending it. It could be a shtickle gnevis das. Okay, whatever. It's chatoy. Yeah. Anyways, and then we bought the property at them. Zog to Gemara. We need an hour and a half for these shiurim. So the people were respecting have to wear what? But what about all the restaurants they go out to and they buy all this food? And he can't even afford it. Says the Gemara, maybe he found the Metzia, the famous Rabbi Yitzchak Hutner, who says everything, the David Abel says everything in this world has a purpose. Even a spider. I didn't know what a spider is, but when I hid from Shaul, the spider made a web, and Shaul thought I wasn't in there. Oh, even a spider has a tachlis. Ask Rabbi Yitzchak Hutner, why does Baruch Hu make crooked brains that think weird? To be melamed tzchus on people. And for shidduchim, he says. That's what he said. I'm not... Maybe the reason he's going to all these fancy restaurants every day because he found $10,000 in the street. Maybe. But he's ruining the properties. What is he doing over there? If you could prove it with Eidim, I'll throw him out. Otherwise, you can't throw him out. Abitrabas, who's like not careful, we get rid of him. It doesn't mean he's literally damaging. He's just not good enough. He's not great at his job. No, don't get rid of him. Machlokes. You do get rid of him. That's not lacha. 2 more minutes. My time. Why does the Mishnah say that if the father appointed this guardian, he has to make a shvua? If the Abitrabas didn't have enough from the father, they were best friends, and over the lifetime of the father, he benefited greatly from him, so he's just repaying him back. He's great friends, just because he has to swear all the way at the end, he's not going to stop. But the svar is fakir by a bezin. He's doing a favor to the bezin. He doesn't even know this guy. And if you force him to make a shvua, he won't want to be a Petrabas. What's the svar ben Abishol? My time in no bezin shova. Oh, this is gevaldik. People love covet. Look, bezin appointed me Petrabas. They think I'm a great guy. That I have to make a shvua, and people are willing to give up $100,000 not to make a shvua. No, but I got a covet. Shtickle covet is worth all the money in the world. I'll make a shvua. I'll do whatever I need to do. Just so people say, oh, bezin are soymechami. That's not going to stop him from this covet. But if the father is the one, he should make a shvua. They're good friends, but that's it. Should we go? Yeah, one more. Yeah, let's just finish up because Imam is done here. Yeah, Tani Rabbi Yaakov Omer, Zev Yishava. So over here it says, according to Rabbi Yosef Yaakov, that Allah is always like him, that no matter what, if the Bezdin made you or the father made you you should make a shvua. He's getting paid. What? You know for a fact that every single Abitrobus gets money? He owes the father a favor, so he's like Hashem Yisachar, and therefore he should make a shvua. Rabbi side, have a wonderful day, Gittin Shabbos, and welcome to Reb Dov Farkish and the other guests. I saw some guy hiding over there. Wow.